Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Doctor Who Review, episode number 103. We are here reviewing a story, which is basically the 47th story of Doctor Who, known as the Krotons. It's a serial that came up between these two stories, The Invasion and See the Death. Yeah, it's a story that came in between these ones. Yes. Released in the time period of December 28th, 1968. And the final episode was concluded on January 18th, 1969. It is a 4-part serial. Yes. Those of you curious, though, is this the shortest serial of the whole season? Because the first 2 were 5 parts. The Invasion was... This was 4 parts as well. See the Death. This was... Excuse me, I think it was about 5 parts, I think it was. Yes, so... It was the second 4-parter in a row. Now, unlike in the case of those 2 stories, which feature returns of very popular Doctor Who monsters, that being the Cybermen and the Ice Warriors, this one debuts a brand new creature who only appears in this one story, because this was another attempt to replace the Daleks. First being the Quarks. They proved to be not that successful because people probably want Daleks. And then we have the main ones. You have the Krotons. We don't see them until like part 3 of the story, which they're robots. Yep, giant robots. Yeah, and the story is penned by Robert Holmes. Now, the story of this one is very similar to the first story of The Trial of the Time Lord. The Doctor and his companion, or in the case of this one, companions, arrive on a planet very desolate, and, like, people basically kind of worshiping these higher power, and, like, people, of course, they encourage people to rebel. It is very similar to that one, but that one particularly debuted a character who appeared 2 more times after that. This one in particular, aside from being the first story penned by Robert Holmes, debuted a very interesting looking monster, that being a robot. Aside from that, there's not a lot of noteworthy things about this story. Well, for one thing, Zoe gets new attire here, because after her black jumpsuit she wore for the previous 2 stories, yeah, she ditched that outfit for a brand new attire. So the Doctor, Zoe, and Jamie arrive on this planet, which I think it's implied to be another post-apocalyptic version of Earth, where they arrive. It's been suffocating, but not too toxic per se. The Doctor has this umbrella, which I think is the first time he's used an umbrella since his very first story on the show. Well, Patrick Troughton anyway, since Power of the Daleks. So then we also have, inside we have these ceremony, like, oh, we have these 2 bright students going to be offered to be companions of the Krotons. And, like, it's a guy and a woman. The guy, of course, there's no issue with this at all. The woman, there is an issue because apparently her boyfriend apparently has a problem with it. So, and that guy, he goes to the door, and as soon as he steps outside, he's immediately vaporized. Now, why in the world this like this? I guess because they think, I guess maybe the Krontons thing was stupid. Not really sure. So throughout this, there's also a bit of rebelling against the Krontons very early on because they don't trust them, and also the fact that the people have never seen these robots at all. Nope, never have. And they do know basically, oh, the Doctor's intelligent, they know Zoe's intelligent. Eventually, they take the test and they go see the Krotons, and Jamie gets involved too. Also, very little involved by the TARDIS. You don't really see the interior of the TARDIS. I think you see the interior TARDIS briefly at the beginning of episode 4, episode 1 of the story. And afterwards, that's kind of it. And the Doctor and the companions basically go off at the end of the story. It is also the second story in a row, which does not start off with basically a cliffhanger. It is actually the first one since the beginning of Wheel in Space. It does not pick up with the previous story. which I guess that now basically I'm progressing forward here. The planet's called Grondos. Oh, it's an Earth-like planet, not like actually Earth per se. Those of you curious, the planet itself does kind of, in a way, appear one more time this in a prose novel. Known as Mutually Assured Domination. Yeah, it's a Brigadier Alistair Lambert Stewart book. Yep, that was released in 2015. Yep, that's when the planet itself returned. The Krotons themselves appear like a few times after the story wrapped up. But like, it's got nice sets. The Dr. Jamie and Zoe are pretty good with their acting. But there's not really a lot to say about this per se. It's a very quick 4-parter. Also, the thing apparently this one has the instance of having the highest number of title drops. The Krotons, the Krotons, the Krotons at 72 times. Yes. Apparently this also was the first collaboration between Robert Holmes and the script editor, Terrence Dix. Yeah, Terra Nation, this whole thing with this one. It's like... Apparently this was repeated in 1981. And apparently, get this. This is the only 4-part story that is still in the BBC archives. None of the other ones are, which I found. I looked up like, really? This is the only one still in the archives? Let's see if I can find it. I think it's the only one that's... Okay, it's only second Doctor one that's basically like that. Okay, I can buy that. Also, apparently, Fraser Hines wanted to leave this story, but then later on, basically, him and Tron left with the story that came out a few stories later. That being War Games. But I'm gonna give this one a rating here of a give it a 7.5 out of 10. It feels like a bit below average when it comes to season. Yep. And there's technically only one more I can watch in the season, that being War Games, because Space Pirates is incomplete and there's no anime release for that one. So whenever I get back to the season, I probably will watch War Games. Yep. But next time, basically, I'm hoping to work on the Web of Fear next, because I really love that story, and I have the anime restoration one. One has the anime restoration episode. I'm gonna watch that. Here, get my thoughts on it. So that's pretty much it. Particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, we have a comic corner. Yeah, I'll probably do one comic corner, and it's on Black Doctor Who. Okay, next view. Bye.